Welcome back into the Red Zone. We're joined now by NCC SID Clark Teuscher. Clark is the final stages of fall sports. The conference is honoring all the all-conference athletes, and the volleyball team had a couple honorees.
Yeah, Rylan Lally was on the second team for the second straight year, and Crystal Wright received honorable mention recognition. This is the third straight year that she's been an all-conference honoree. Kind of a tough season for that group, but certainly the individual performances going noticed by the other CCIW coaches.
And the other sport, men's soccer team defense was the strength of that team all season long. Maybe struggled putting the ball in the net a little bit, but it shows with their all CCIW nods as well.
Yeah, that kind of bore out in the all-conference teams as the goalkeeper Philip Klipp and defender Paul Box were both on the all-conference team. They were kind of the cornerstones of the defense this year, which did very well, so it's nice to see them honored for that.
And after a weekend off, a couple of conference champions, men's and women's cross-country teams head to Rock Island for regionals. Kind of what can we expect out of this weekend?
Well, it's a return trip for both of them because the conference meet was there this year. Both teams ran very well at that meet. Certainly helps them out to have some familiarity with the course. It's one of the tougher regions on both the men's and women's sides in terms of the density of the ranked opponents that are going to be in the field. The men's team hasn't had any problem with most of those teams this year. They've run against a majority of them and beaten them, so they're certainly the prohibitive favorite as they go into the weekend.
And this is one of those meets where the women's squad, they're kind of one of those on the cusp. We don't know what to expect out of them once they get there. But 1 through 5, 1 through 7, they really all have to run a strong race to have a chance to move on, right?
Well, all of the top 7 runners have significant experience. They've all been here and been through this process before. So, and then Amanda Leish, who's the #1 runner, she's been to the nationals a couple of times. So, certainly nothing they're going to throw at her that she hasn't seen before. So it's a very experienced group that's probably as ready as a team as they've ever had to get a spot in the national championships.
And as the winter sports are starting up, reigning conference champions, the wrestling squad, heads down to Galesburg for its first action this season. Talking with Jim Miller yesterday, he's the former wrestling coach, obviously, and the athletic director now. This is a team he's pretty excited about.
Yeah, Jim keeps tabs pretty well on what's going on in wrestling for obvious reasons, and he's pretty excited about the season. They seem pretty equipped to get things going. Obviously, we have a returning national qualifier, Nathan Fitzenreiter. We've also got a couple of returning conference champions, and Andrew Zobak at 141. And Greg Schroeder, who was a conference champion 2 years ago at 174. He was out last year due to shoulder surgery, but certainly appears to be in good shape this year and ready to get started as they go down to the Knox Invitational. And
the women's basketball team, they lost their exhibition match to SIUE, a Division I squad. I know Christine Carl was banged up in a scrimmage early on. What's the prognosis of her going forward and getting back on the court?
She seems to be doing better. By the time they get started in the regular season next week, she should be okay and ready to go. I know they weren't going to take any chances with this exhibition game down at Edwardsville. Those are kind of a tough game there because you're a team that wants to play an up-tempo style of basketball, and that's when it's going to help you be successful later in the season. So that's what you employ in this exhibition game. Problem is the other team likes to do that too, and they're a little bigger, a little stronger, a little faster, so it kind of makes for a mismatch there. So you really can't draw too much from the score, more than just basically the experience of getting out on the court and playing together.
And you have to think with the new coach, Michelle Roof, that this team kind of still determining a rotation and maybe expect them to kind of get stronger as the season goes along?
Yeah, I mean, there's anywhere from 10 to 12 players who could wind up getting into that final rotation. The good thing is they don't have to start playing conference games until January, so they've got some time to get things figured out in the non-conference season before they really get into the meat of their schedule.
And the men's squad starts its exhibition season this week with the scrimmage. Derek Raridan comes back after leading the team in scoring last year as a freshman. It looks like their success will kind of depend on how much help he gets from some of the newcomers. Yeah,
Derek played a lot in the post last year. He's really more of a perimeter player. Certainly likes to shoot from the outside. The team's a little better equipped to allow him to do that this year. We've got a much improved post game. Several players trying to fit into that rotation as well. It's another team that's going to take some time to figure out who's going to work out best in what positions for them. They played a scrimmage a couple of weeks ago against Concordia University in Chicago. Saw some promising things, some things they needed to work on. They've had a couple of weeks to get it straightened out. They got one more dress rehearsal here before the regular season starts, so they're going to hope to execute very well against Chicago on Thursday night.
And what kind of style of play can we expect to see from this team? Is it going to be something that's tempo, or maybe a little bit more of stuff in the half court?
It's going to depend. Todd likes to run a lot of half court sets and get some things open and get some high percentage shots. The defense will be able to key some baskets, so they're hoping to use their defense to create some offense there as well. So a combination of different things. It's going to depend on matchups as well.
Well, Clark, we appreciate you coming by.
Thank you, Alex.
Well, we appreciate you spending some time with us. Cardinal football kicks off its Senior Day festivities against North Park at 1 p.m. on Saturday. For a full recap and a playoff preview, be sure to be right back here next week for the Red Zone.